All right, so I'm going to break down the 7 principles of persuasion with examples. I've got Colin with me, who is following my face, so it's not really going to see you unless I put you on camera.
Hello, everybody.
But, all right, so this is how you can implement the principles of persuasion in a car dealership, right? So this is kind of a car sales training video, if you want to think of it in that way. But the first one is reciprocity. And reciprocity, very simply defined as people don't like to be in debt to other people. They like to repay acts of kindness and gifts that are given to them. And the key to reciprocity, to tap into it, is that you have to be the first person to give, and you have to give a gift that's personalized and unexpected. And if you can accomplish that, then people will often repay you much more than what you gave to them. So in car sales, the best way to tap into this, I think, is you can do it all throughout the sale, right? I think that we can agree that if you have a car pulled up and ready for somebody when they're coming in to see it, and let's say it's a hot day, the air conditioning is running, car's full of gas, clean, little things like this, having their favorite drink ready, if you know what their favorite drink is. Barry's really good at doing that, right?
Yes.
He knows what people's favorite coffee is.
Sodas out, coffees, or water.
Right, he'll have little things like that, which it might not seem like a big deal, but giving somebody coffee before they've even asked for it is an act of kindness that makes people feel special. So one of the best ways, though, is at the end of a deal where you might get somebody a gift that's kind of unexpected. Colin, you do this pretty frequently.
I do.
You like to figure out what is it that your clients like, and then you surprise them with a gift.
Restaurants, wine, flowers, little things like that. It makes a world of difference.
Are people genuinely surprised when they show up at delivery and you've got a little gift for them?
Oh, yeah.
And
all the time.
Now, do you tell them ahead of time or do you surprise them with it?
I like to surprise them. What I'll usually do is I'll call the person's son or daughter or maybe sometimes the assistant or family friend.
Yep.
If I have rapport with them, and go off of that. I'm like a little surprise and delight factor.
So think about that. Now that's the key, is that doing nice things for other people or giving gifts that are unexpected will always be appreciated. But when they're a surprise, when they're unexpected, that's when it really just blows people away. So
I think the Ocean Prime gift card for Sally and Adam was something that was really blew them away.
There you go.
To their son, and they were just like, "Oh my God!"
Now the reciprocity that you're not necessarily expecting anything in return, but what usually is the reciprocity that you will get from people when doing something nice?
Use their condos in Naples, Florida when I travel.
Okay.
Dinners, get-togethers, special events.
What about all of the referrals that you get
A lot of referral
that you
business.
don't even know are coming?
Yeah,
right.
Just a little surprise factor.
One of the things that Colin ends up getting in droves because of his generosity and tapping into reciprocity is he gets all of these people who just show up or call him because his clients are like, you got to go call Colin. And that is the reciprocity that you get in return for your kindness. So reciprocity, a huge one. So the next one, since I've got you here, we'll do liking.
Okay.
I call this the Colin principle, the liking principle. And what liking principle says, very simply, is that people prefer to do business with people that they like. Really no more complicated than that. It just says that we want to be around, we want to do business with people that are similar to us, that have similar interests, that pay us compliments, make us feel good, and that we like.
Absolutely.
And when people like you, they want to buy from you.
Want to buy from you.
So how do you tap into the liking principle? What do you do when you're meeting somebody for the first time, or you're just connecting with a client that maybe you haven't talked to in a while?
Just the commonality factor. Where you're from, where do you do, where'd you grow up at?
Yep.
Name off restaurants or schools or places of interest in the greater areas. And
do you find that where did you grow up or where are you from is one of the easiest ways to connect with somebody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It really doesn't, it's not overly complicated, but the science shows that if we spend 10 minutes at the beginning of an interaction with somebody, especially if it's a sales interaction, just talking with them, connecting with them, finding commonality, the rest of the process is so much easier.
That's easy. It just flows.
It's easy.
And then they feel like they've known you for 15 years.
Exactly. Because at that point, now it's not, this person's trying to sell me something. It's like, I've made a friend. And now when I say these things, I really mean it. I'm not saying sit down with clients and just BS them for 10 minutes and like fake getting to know them. No, like actually have a conversation with them, and you can start to tap into the liking principle. And what I think is the ultimate compliment that you can ever get in sales, especially car sales, is when somebody says, you know, Colin, I think I like the BMW a little bit better, but you work for Mercedes-Benz and I like you more and I want to buy a car from you.
Yeah.
Right?
I've had that happen.
Have you ever had something like
Absolutely,
that?
I have.
I certainly have. And that to me is like the greatest compliment anyone could ever pay you, because they're saying, I like this other product a little bit more, but I want to do business with you.
Absolutely.
Right? That's like the greatest thing that anybody could ever do for you. So the key is spend some time chatting with your clients, getting to know them. The way I say it is, do your best to talk about anything other than the car for as long as you can, so that you can make a connection with somebody.
Try to sell a car, you're not going to sell a car.
100%. The authority principle. The authority principle is very cool, and there's a couple different ways that you can tap into it. And it very simply says that people trust and follow the lead of experts, knowledgeable experts. And there are different ways that you can be, become an expert. Obviously, one, if you want to be an expert, then you need to study your craft. You need to have product knowledge. You need to know what it is you're talking about. But you also have subtle ways that you can show this to people. So one of the ways that doctors do it, for example, is they hang their diplomas on the wall in the office. It is a subtle way that you go in there and you can see, okay, they went to this medical school, here's all of their qualifications. They're letting the diplomas give them the expert. That's what's determining that they are an expert, and it puts you at ease. Now, when people just come up to you and they say, hey, I'm a doctor, I went to this medical school, I do this, that, and the other, it comes off as braggadocious, pompous even. It doesn't have the same effect. Right, so one of the ways that you can do it in car sales are having things on display in your office that can do the talking for you. So Colin, you keep all of your sales champion awards on the back of your desk. And what does that tell people when they sit in your office? Now they don't walk into your office and you go, hey, by the way, check out all these sales champion awards that I have, do you?
Never. I let them tell me.
Right.
And then you start the conversation.
But they see them.
Absolutely.
And do they bring it up? Do they ask
All
you a
the
question?
time.
Okay.
All the time.
So by having your sales champion awards back there, people can see this guy's really good at what he does without you having to say it.
Absolutely.
Right? There are other ways that you can do it. And here's my favorite part about it, is that psychologically, people cannot there's no perceptible, it's not perceptible when this is happening, where if I have an opportunity to introduce Colin to somebody, you could already be talking to somebody. And if I came up and said, hey, you're in really good hands, Colin's our top salesperson here, he's going to take amazing care of you, then the nice thing that I just said about Colin now builds credibility in him in the mind of the buyer that he is with. Because you're not sitting there saying, hey, I'm awesome, I'm the top sales guy here, I'm going to take really good care of you. Like, you might say those things, but it's not the same as when somebody else says them about you.
I usually say, I just say, love what I do. That's just like a very nonchalant,
there you go.
hey, I love what I do.
And you have the opportunity, sometimes I'll see you pop into other people's office, maybe a salesperson's pulling up a car, and you'll pop in and say hello, and you have an opportunity to say something nice about the salesperson.
All the time.
It puts people at ease, right? I like to think of it as, you're at a party, you don't know anybody, somebody introduces you to somebody else, now you feel more comfortable, and that person feels like they know you a little bit because they've been introduced to you by someone else. It's just different than when you're introducing yourself. I don't know how to describe it, but psychologically that's what happens. So let's move on to scarcity.
Just checking doors.
The scarcity principle. I've talked about this one in a previous video. It simply says that people want things that there are less of. So they want more of things that there are less of. So low availability, things that are scarce in nature, people desire more.
G63s.
100%. If G63s and 911s were readily available, do you think they would be nearly as popular?
Absolutely not.
No, the allure would be gone. If you could just get one, no problem, and the thrill of the chase and the FOMO, the fear of missing out that everyone else has one and you don't, it wouldn't be nearly as exciting. But where a lot of people fall short with scarcity is what they don't understand is that just because something is in low supply doesn't necessarily make it desirable. There has to be desirability there, of course, but when you're selling something that is scarce, and by the way, every used car is scarce. Used cars cannot be replaced. They're all 100% unique. People are more motivated by what they stand to lose in any situation than by what they stand to gain. So if you're trying to sell, talking about how great a car is, all the great features about it, that appeal might work. But to really tap into scarcity, what you have to be able to say is, hey, Colin, this 2022 G63 that you're looking at in Green Hell Magno, I'm sure you know that was a limited edition car.
Yeah. You will not
that paint was not available for normal ordering. So if you don't buy this one, I'm quite certain I'll never be able to replace it.
Or the 23 4Runner we had with 6 miles on it.
That 2023 4Runner is the perfect example. We got our hands on, was it Lava Orange? Is that the name of it?
It's called Solar Flare, if I'm not mistaken.
Solar Flare. Okay, so Solar Flare.
6-mile TRD Pro. That was, go find another one.
2023 Solar Flare TRD Pro, 6 miles on it. A collector bought it. He bought 2, one to drive, one to collect. We ended up with the one to collect. It had 6 miles on it. Now, again, there's nothing unethical about this. There's nothing, we're not trying to pull the wool over the eyes, but we could sit there and say, hey, Colin, how awesome is this, right? It's orange, 100%. It's got 6 miles on it, it's a 23, right? That's all true. Those are all great things about the car, but the more effective appeal is, hey, Colin, I think we can both agree there will never be another orange 2023 TRD Pro with 6 miles ever in the world.
Well, there might be one that we see in Barrett-Jackson in 35 years, but other than that,
it could happen. But the point is that if you don't buy it and someone else does, I can't replace it. Right. It will be impossible. That is how the scarcity principle works. It's what you might lose, not what you will get. Okay, so we've got 3 left to go. What does that leave us with? How about consistency? Easily one of my favorites. Consistency principle merely says that people like to be consistent with things they have said or done in the past. So what that means is that if you are selling a car, Colin, right? Is it fair to say car purchase is massive for most people?
100%. Sometimes we might argue it's bigger than buying a house right now.
I would say nowadays, with less and less people becoming homeowners, it's probably the biggest purchase that most people will ever make in their lives. So it doesn't come lightly. And especially when you're selling luxury cars, sometimes there's a lag effect between the day that we say yes to the day that you take delivery. Whether that's your custom building, whether that it's a car that we have to go locate, maybe you're out of town. The point is that if you say, hey, I'd like to buy it, I'll be in next Saturday to pick it up. And that's the only commitment that you have as a salesperson from that person. How easy is it for somebody to back out of that deal?
No question.
Right?
Easy.
Do you really know if they're actually very committed at all? So what are the small commitments that we can get?
Down payments, approved financing, photos of a trade-in if they have a trade, if it's not here.
Absolutely.
Payoff information. I mean, there's a laundry list of items.
Insurance cards.
Yeah, insurance card updated ahead of time, driver's license pictures.
Essentially, the
signed
more
worksheets.
Exactly, signatures on worksheets, very small things like that. All of these little commitments that people make along the way in a process add up to the ultimate goal of buying and taking delivery of a car. The more small commitments that are made, the more committed that person is. A great example of this is, I'd like to think of a party. If I invite Colin to a party that's a month from now, one, very easy to say yes, because it's a month from now, no big deal, right? Sure, yeah, I'll go, right? If that's the only commitment I ever get from Colin, and then the night before I say, hey, by the way, my party's tomorrow night, how easy is it for you to be like, oh,
you never told me yet, yeah, sorry.
I forgot,
yeah,
I have plans, right? It's easy. You didn't really ever feel very committed.
Never.
But if every week from now until a month from now, I remind you, hey, don't forget, July 5th, it's my big party, and you keep saying yes every time, then what ends up happening when you get close to that party? Now maybe we've talked about it and you've said yes 5-6 times. Is it a little more difficult to
a lot more difficult to say no. Well, you would feel they would owe that person a favor. I'm going to owe you that next time I see you.
You're probably not going to forget, one. And two, you're going to be like, well, I did tell him like 6 times that I was going to go to this party, right? So the point is that the more small commitments you make along the way, the easier it is to get that big commitment at the end. That's the consistency principle. So that leaves us with consensus, which has now been renamed social proof. This is one of my favorites. This just says that people look to what others are already doing to help inform their own decisions. And it basically just says that human beings, naturally, we're mentally lazy, and a lot of times we like to just figure out what other people are doing to make a decision for us. What is our favorite example? What happens in the middle of the day every day?
Oh, people are just worrying about like, oh, what's for lunch? What are you doing for lunch? What are you going to eat?
What's for lunch? And can anybody ever really make a decision
Never.
on lunch?
You couldn't make a decision today.
No, we can't. So
we settled on Fragapin.
Yeah, so what do? You ask somebody else, hey, what are you getting for lunch today? Because I can't figure it out, so what are you getting?
Yeah,
and then we
just get the same thing.
Right, and even...
We both had corned beef sandwiches today.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Colin, if I had been asked to prepare a list of 10 places I wanted to eat lunch today, that would not have been on the list.
No, but it was good.
At one point you recommended it, and it was like, you know what, all right, fine. You've made a decision already.
Let's do it.
That's just what we're going to do. So social proof is so fantastically amazing because you can use this in car sales all the time, especially when people are asking you for an opinion on what they should do, right? So a big one would be protection packages.
Yep, all the time. Clear film. Ceramic
100%.
coating.
So when somebody's asking you, hey, should I get tire and wheel protection or should I get ceramic or clear film? How do you have that conversation with them?
Well, I mean, I tell them, I build up like I already have it on my car. Let me
Right.
show you how it saves your investment. And
Okay.
people love that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, look, here's what I'm doing. Or even better, with our AMGs, we'll tell people, hey, you know, if it's tire and wheel protection,
This does this.
90% of people who get an AMG get tire and wheel protection. And that's based on actual data that we have. So I'm not saying that I think you should get it. I'm saying everybody else is already getting it, right? People like to be included. If I say, should I get ceramic protection? Well, you are buying a Maybach, and I'm not sure I've ever sold a Maybach where somebody didn't get ceramic protection, right? So again, I'm not saying that you should. What I'm saying is that everybody else who's bought one gets it, right? So you're pointing to what other people are already doing to help people to make a decision for themselves. And I think that brings us, was that 6? Does that leave us with unity? Is that the last one? So that leaves us with unity. So Colin, this is another great one for you because you tap into this a lot. And the unity principle basically says that it's like liking, but on steroids, where unity is community. People, if they feel a sense of community, are going to be more inclined to be influenced by other people that are in that community. So it could be a shared ethnicity. It could be a shared religion or political belief. It could be a shared love for being a Cleveland Browns fan, right? It could be a sports team. You have Irish heritage.
I do.
When you meet other people that have Irish heritage, what happens?
I go crazy.
You go off the deep
I'm in
end.
Ireland every year.
Right?
Yep.
Do you not feel instantly more connected to those people? And
All the time.
they feel more instantly connected to you because you have this shared identity and heritage of being Irish. So what ends up happening is that when we find these other people that we have a shared identity with or a shared community with, we just instantly become more likely to be influenced by them. And that's why people like to work with people that they feel like they've got a sense of community with, or that they have something in common with, right? If it's a sports player, you know, an athlete, they might want to work with the person at the car dealership that was a former athlete, right? They have that in common. So there's all of these amazing things that the principles of persuasion can teach you about the car business, and everything that we do here, it's all ethical, right? We don't use these to abuse these.
No.
But you take the things that you're already doing, you tweak them just a little bit, and the results can be massively different.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you learned something here. And my name is Doug. This is Colin. Thank you for watching. If you haven't followed already, please make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Stay tuned for more.